Recording live from the Northeast Georgia Business RadioX studio. This is Northeast Georgia Business Radio. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Northeast Georgia Business Radio. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon, and we are recording live from the beautiful Empower College and Career Center of Jackson County on somewhat of a gloomy, stormy Georgia spring day. But anyway, I want to give a big shout out to my buddy, Mike Salmond, on running the board for me. Mike, he's waving. Mike, I hope you're doing well, sir. But today we have a very special guest, a really cool guy is with me today. I actually have with me the president of the Barrow County Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Tommy Jennings. Tommy, welcome to the Northeast studio, sir.
Delighted to be here. I look forward to this. Of course, being here in Jackson County, my son is a Jackson County resident, grew up here, or not, he didn't grow up here. Once he got married,
He wandered over here.
he grew up the rest of the way here. My grandchildren grew up here, so that's a very wonderful attraction to me. Also, all the other good people that I know around here in Jackson County.
There's a bunch.
There are a bunch. A few that I don't know, but most of the ones I do are all terrific.
Nice. I hear there's some pretty good people in Barrow County as well.
You know, Barrow and Jackson, we're such a pair of counties that we have somewhat of a rivalry, not intense, but there is a bit of a rivalry, but we're so much alike. Mm-hmm. Jackson County growing like crazy. Barrow County, same
Barrow
thing.
is growing like crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we were just supplanted by Jackson County a year or so ago as one of the fastest growing counties in the state. I think Jackson County is now number 3. We got bumped down to number 5. So
So you need to throw those barricades up on Highway 11.
No.
Okay.
We're
keep them in there. Keep them in.
We're both excited that our both communities continue to just grow and expand and bring in more business, and both counties are just creating prosperity wherever they go.
Yeah, it's got to be a good deal for everyone, for the surrounding areas to be prospering as well. I mean, it just has to be.
It is, and I'll tell you what. I'm sure, like Jackson County, we're having new members come in, new businesses that are either being created or are transferring or are expanding, and they're coming to Barrow County. Then they come to us, and what I want to tell them and what I want to emphasize to them, we're here to create prosperity. We
Right.
want to see the prosperity of all of our residents, all of our businesses, the nonprofits, whatever we have. When we see prosperity, then everyone just benefits from it.
So that's basically the goal of the chamber.
It is. Every chamber has a mission statement.
A role, yeah.
Yeah, and ours is, the long version is, I couldn't tell you. The short version is basically we want to be a benefactor, and we want to be a supporter of all members in all of our communities. Because like Jackson County, we have a number of different cities. I think Jackson County may have 7 cities inside.
I'm going to go with you on that.
I think we got.
If
6.
you hadn't asked me, it's one of those I could have told you.
Yeah, no, I knew you were going to ask me. That's why I said that first.
So how many you got?
Well, we've got 6.
You got a few. There you go.
We're looking to create and grow throughout all of our communities.
Nice. I want to know a little bit about the man, Tommy Jennings.
Well,
I do.
It's relatively boring.
How did you end up here? Oh, it's not boring.
Yeah, no, you're right. How did I? And that's a question. Somebody said, well, how did you get in the chamber? Because I was, for 35 years, in the apparel business. Northeast Georgia was traditionally, up until the 90s actually, a textile and apparel type community. We were all integrated in either producing of garments or producing piece goods, fabric for garments. Our whole area was just full of textiles. And Winder, for instance, back in the 1950s, was known as the work clothing capital of the world.
I had no idea.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go. And I was with a family-owned company. My grandfather started it in 1931. And when he passed away in 1949, my dad took over. I joined it in 1976, coming out of college. And my brother joined shortly after that. So it was a truly family-owned and generational business and company there in Winder. We had been expanding. We actually had 4 plants in Northeast Georgia, one in Winder, one in Statham, one over in Maysville, and one in Dahlonega. And at one time, we had over 600 employees.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So we were.
Put that in perspective, though. The populations around here were not as high.
That's right.
As they are today.
That's right. Winder in Barrow County was 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Barrow County was probably 15,000, 20,000.
A large part of the community depended on you.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it was amazing to see. And at 8 o'clock in Winder, Georgia, the streets would be empty. 12 o'clock, the horns blew. Everybody came out to go to lunch. It was just like ants coming out of the anthill.
That's what they did.
At 1 o'clock, empty again. At 5 o'clock, they were out and going home. Didn't even come back until Saturday morning to do their shopping from 8 until 12. Then the stores closed. So it was just a traditional heartbeat of a small town community. And we were fortunate to be a part of it. We did see, however, as the years went on, we started having to close plants and move our production offshore. And we started manufacturing goods in the Caribbean, Central America, and then we moved to the Far East. And we were turning our business from a retail focus to a uniform focus. We found that in the mid-'70s to mid-'80s, our customers were becoming our competitors. We would go up and show some of our biggest accounts a pair of pants. They'd say, "Hey, I like that. How much?" $10.
Right.
Well, they said, "It's too much." Okay, $9.50. We'll think about it. They take that pair of pants and go to somebody in China or offshore who could make it for $6.
They'd reverse engineer it.
Yeah. So
Lovely.
they would take our samples. And as I said, they were just turning into our competitors. We saw the writing on the wall on that. We became more of a uniform-centric business. We were making goods for the U.S. Navy, for the officers and chiefs. We were making goods for military schools, anybody from the Citadel over in South Carolina to a number of military schools in Alabama, Virginia, Tennessee. And then we had an apparel show in Las Vegas. Twice a year we would go out there for the apparel show. And our salesmen were out there and we were selling pants. And we would always have some dead inventory. We had some dead inventory that we were looking to move. It was a basic 100% polyester dress pant. Now, visualize a 100% basic men's pair of pants. All it is 2 legs, belt loops, and pockets. Mm-hmm. Well, I had walked away for a minute during our show, came back, and the salesman came up to me and said, "Tommy, I just sold that 3214. You mean the men's polyester pant?" "Yes, Lord." I said, "Who in the world bought that?" Circus Casino. So you're kidding me. Why would they buy that? He said, they had no suppliers that had any inventory. We were the only ones that had some inventory for that. They're going to use these and supply their dealers. So, okay. So their dealers wear a basic black dress pant. Mm-hmm. I said, "Don, you think there are any others?" He said, "Yes." The buyer said that she was glad to know us, and she was going to spread the word about us and to other casinos. It exploded.
Nice.
We started developing business with casinos in Las Vegas. Then we started finding out that, wow, in 2001, 2002, there are a lot of growing places where casinos are developing. Mm-hmm. Riverboats, Indian reservations, they were coming like crazy. And our last big project was they were building a new casino in Las Vegas. This fellow by the name of Steve Wynn was building a casino, Wynn Resorts. Mm-hmm. We got the project to develop and make all of his dress pants for all of his employees, whether they're front desk or dealers or anything else, all the maintenance people. We would do a different type pant. We got to working with the company who was doing the tops for Wynn Resort. And we were at that time, my brother and I had talked about looking to get out. So we got in a conversation with the people doing the tops, and so we struck up a deal with them and sold them our uniform business. So we said, now's the time. Mm-hmm. So we went ahead and we closed our facility, shut down. So I was really kind of just doing nothing for a while, semi-retired. I'd been on the board with our local Chamber of Commerce.
Of course.
When the local executive that was there left, They searched, they looked for somebody, and somebody came to me. And I think what they said was, well, Tommy's not doing anything. Let's just get him. So they got me. So that was a little over 15 years ago, and my life has been a pleasure, a few pain points, but a pleasure running the Barrow County Chamber of Commerce.
I didn't realize you've been president that long.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of things.
I have. Little did I know that right after I started in 2007, there was going to be a big event called the Great Recession to come on.
I remember that.
It was tough times. I'll just say tough times. But
yeah.
We weathered it and got through, and we managed the COVID thing, so we're doing okay.
What does a day in the life of a chamber president, or at least a Barrow County chamber president, what does that look like? You're meeting people, you're shaking hands.
It looks like a different thing every day.
That's what probably makes it great.
Yeah, it is. I'll tell you, some days, we have a staff of 4. It's myself and 3 other folks. I couldn't ask for 3 other.
That's nice to have.
Have working there. But some days we'll look around and we'll say, is there any life around here? It's just dead quiet, especially in the summertime we slow down.
Right.
But other times we're out and we're going and we're having people come in, we're having meetings. Our different committees are very active, so we're catching up with them. We're doing monthly luncheons. We do an annual golf tournament. You just name it, and there's something that's got our hand in it somewhere. It's truly a never a dull moment thing until we get to the summertime.
Then you just kind of regroup a little bit.
Yeah, we do. We actually, folks will take some time off. I'll be going down for a conference with my fellow chamber executives next month that basically is a place where we learn all the best practices or some of the better best practices that we haven't implemented. So
what to do, maybe no.
Yeah.
What not to do.
That's
even.
right.
That can be equally important.
That is equally important.
Yeah.
It's always something.
Now we talked about growth a little bit. It's coming through Barrow. It's coming up into this area.
Yeah.
How's that affecting? Other than I imagine just flat out growth. How is that affecting the chamber?
Well,
I imagine internally it's probably causing. I don't want to say issues. That's negative, but it's probably causing perhaps rethink some things even.
Well, what we're rethinking is, and I've got a story.
Good.
But what we are rethinking is how to serve our membership better, how to assist them in growing their business, how to help them be more responsive, reactive to their customers, whatever it is that we can do, once again, to create that prosperity. I tell every new member that comes in here, I say, look, at the end of the day, if you're not successful,
right,
then neither will we be.
Right.
So whatever we can do to help you grow, to help your business get established if it's not, or become a growing concern, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do because, it is a growing community and we're seeing new companies come in and new people come in. We had a program. We do a monthly luncheon feature, and I had a speaker come in, and he was telling the story about why we're growing, and whether it's us, Jackson. What's happening is that we're seeing a lot of the college kids. We've got the University of Georgia, Georgia Tech, Emory, Morehouse, Spelman, all the colleges in Northeast Georgia, North Georgia College, all of these colleges. These kids are graduating from there, and they're leaving school. They're finally leaving the house, and they're going to their first job. They're going to Atlanta. Atlanta is bullseye. Yeah. And what they're doing is, they're having a great time. They're moving into the Ponce City markets.
Oh, yeah.
$2,900 a month rent for a 500 square foot apartment.
Yeah.
And they're living up their life. They're working. They're having a big time. Well, they're hooking up. Well, they're still in those apartments, still 500 square feet at $2,900 a month. And they're saying, okay, well, let's either move in together or let's get married.
Sure.
So they're doing that. And then they're still living in those 500 square foot apartments. But we know that it's that one familial event that makes them say, let's look to move out. And of course, we know that event is when they get a dog.
Of course.
because when they get a dog, they need a backyard.
It
So
helps.
they're saying,
it helps.
let's look out to Barrow County. Let's see what's out there. And they have been finding a lot of new houses. Now, I just read a report today that the housing market, despite what people have said that interest rates were going to slow down housing, it has not, because there is a dearth, there is a shortage of housing inventory.
Right.
So they're building like crazy. They're building in Barrow County. So people are moving out there. These kids are moving out here. After they move, that's when they do have a child. That causes the other part of our growth to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Because when they have a child, suddenly their parents, now newly grandparented, they're retiring from work in Illinois and Michigan and Minnesota, and they're saying, well, let's move closer to the grandkids.
Closer to the grandbaby. Oh,
So we're getting the growth at both ends of the spectrum.
Nice.
So it's a growing area, and we're delighted to be in the middle of it.
Sounds like what you're doing is great.
Well, it's what everybody's doing. You know, we see that with the growth, with the rooftops comes the retail, the commercial development. With the growth, with the new people in here, it's creating opportunities for businesses to come in because their inventory of employees suddenly widens. So, you know, that growth is creating, now that growth's already also creating traffic jams.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes.
And all the stuff that with growth also happens. But it's a double-edged sword.
And all that, more or less, houses are being built and houses are being sold.
Yes.
And that's going to bring us a perfect segue, Tommy. We're that good. To one of our great community partners. It's always great to be doing great things, but one of our great community partners is Winfield Realty Group. Randy Winfield and his team consistently provide a concierge, best-in-class personal level of service to their clients. First-time home buyer, relocation, selling, or buying your current home, Winfield Realty Group is ready to assist. And hey, let's face it, Randy Winfield is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. I call him the concierge of class. You talk about pressure. But folks, visit WinfieldRealtyGroup.com today. And while you're at it, visit our new website here at Business RadioX, negabrx.com, negabrx.com, to see all our great community partners. Tommy, you still there?
I'm here. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
I got to pay the bills, man.
Absolutely.
Got to get that in.
Absolutely. Randy sounds like a prince of a gentleman.
I tell you, you need to meet him. You really do. I tell everyone when I grow up, I want to be Randy Winfield. That's just the way it works.
We all have our idols that we want to reach up to. So that's a good one.
Aspire to be.
Absolutely.
Let's get back to the chamber.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit of history. I know it's been around for at least 15 years.
It's been around for 75 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Yes, a long time. It started out, one of our retailers, shop owner in Winder, Mr. Claude Tuck, first brought up the idea to some of his fellow businessmen there in Winder about opening or starting a chamber of commerce. As it was, because Winder was the center of the business community, the center of retail, it was the Winder Chamber of Commerce.
Gotcha.
So as Winder grew, the chamber grew through a number of iterations, a number of different locations. Back in 1954, they were opening their first office in the People's Bank building. The third floor of the People's Bank, which was basically one of the only buildings in Winder that had more than one floor. So
Gotcha.
the Chamber of Commerce ran there until 1969, I believe it was, when they moved from the People's Bank building to the old historic train depot located in downtown Winder. That had recently been given to the city of Winder by CSX, which used to be Seaboard Airlines.
Right.
And that building was converted over to the chamber offices, which is where we have been ever since. In 1975, also when we moved, the chamber was renamed the Winder Barrow Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I was about to say, when I was a little kid, 40 some odd years ago, no one said Barrow County. They said Winder Barrow.
That's right.
No, not so much.
Yeah, Winder Barrow was the center of the community inside the county. It was the name of the high school.
Yeah.
It was the name. And as we saw it continue to grow, however, Auburn was growing, Statham was growing. We converted it from the Winder Barrow Chamber just to the Barrow County Chamber of Commerce. That was in 1976, which we have been that third iteration is what we have been ever since. So that has been our name, and our location has been in the train depot ever since then. So we're continuing to upgrade there, but that has been our history, so to speak. And the other thing is, despite all of the growth that we've had, despite all of the businesses, our number of large businesses employing over 1,000 people, which we have several, our biggest industry still is agriculture.
Is it really?
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah. So people might not, kind of overlook agriculture.
Oh, quickly.
It's just,
Yeah.
It's there.
Right.
You just don't think about it. You don't see a building. You don't see,
Right.
trucks running in and out.
You
every
look
day.
right past it.
But it's there. Yeah.
Before we wrap this up, this is your chance to sell. You've been selling since you got in here, which I love. A true president of a chamber. Why do the folks want to come and be a member of your chamber? And give me some of the programs. I know you mentioned a few things, but I'm going to give you the word here. I'm going to be quiet and just let you run with it. All
right. This is a favorite topic of mine. It's not something I take lightly. It's a labor of love, not for the chamber, but for the community. Because, as I said at the very start, we look to help create prosperity, and we know that our businesses are the one that creates the prosperity. Government doesn't create prosperity; our businesses create prosperity. So, whatever we can do to facilitate that, to make sure that our businesses are represented. If we have any issues with our local governments, and I'll say that our local governments, for the most part, are great partners with the chamber because they understand that their heartbeat is the business community. So we want to be sure that our businesses find it as easy as possible to grow, as easy as possible to find the exceptional talent that they need to grow, and as easy as possible as it is for them to create that prosperity which builds upon itself in the community. The more people that we have employed here, the more they're going to be spending back in the community.
Right.
So we want to see that growth just multiply upon itself. As far as what we can do to help that, we make connections. We make connections, whether it's our small mom and pops with our networking every Friday morning, whether it's having meetings once a month so that we have the leaders of the business community in Barrow County under one roof at one time with our monthly luncheons. If we work to grow our enterprises with our events, whether it's our annual golf tournament where we're bringing in over 150 folks onto a golf tournament to not only have fun, but you're networking, you're talking about business, you're talking about what you can do. So we work with that, whether it's in the fall with our Businesswoman of the Year luncheon, where we recognize a leading businesswoman in the community once a year, whether we do it with our Eggs and Issues breakfast, where we talk with our local legislators as they go to Atlanta, starting their next legislative session in January, whether it's our legislative briefing, which we have every June, where we bring in our area legislators and we combine it with the Oconee Chamber and the Athens Area Chamber, just to get a big perspective of the area, of what's going on there. Or our annual dinner, where we recognize those folks who have been in the community, who have meant so much, whether it's a small business of the year, large business of the year. Our Shining Star Award is a recognition of a leading person in Barrow County who, through a lifetime of service, is someone we want to recognize. So anything that we can do to help grow, to help prosperity, and to help build business, that's why we're here.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely.
You have a website.
We have a website, www.barrowchamber.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Instagram.
Doing the social media thing. I love
Yep.
it. I love it. Well, Tommy, did we get it all in?
Tom, I could talk more, but I don't think you want me to.
We got more shows. I'd love to have you, Tom. We got to get you. You know what? We need a Barrow County Chamber show, and you can bring your members in every month.
There you go.
We got to work on that, man.
Absolutely.
We got to work on that. Well, Tommy, thanks for coming in. They're playing my music. That means I got to go.
All right, take me with you.
Thank you, folks. Another great edition check out the Barrow County Chamber, barrowchamber.com. I'm your host, Tom Sheldon. Another great episode. We'll talk to you soon.